Hey everyone, welcome to Tipping Point, the power of clarity, where we go live with experts on a broad range of topics such as business leadership, emotional well-being, trauma, or even financial literacy. In the many years that I've been an executive coach working with people across the country, what I found is that people are looking for experience, strength, and hope. And this podcast is literally designed to offer you just that. So we give you access really to experts from around the world. And their whole intent is to give you actionable tips to inspire you so you can take action, better your life, and go from there. So today's guest is Peter Jenssen. He's a good friend of mine, actually. I've known him for a long time. His background is that he was a venture capitalist turned crypto expert. And today we're going to be exploring the world of cryptocurrency, NFTs, and anything you wanted to know about the space. So Peter, welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me today.
Hi. So good to have you. Okay, Peter. So for context, why don't you share a little bit about your background and how you got into crypto?
Awesome. Yeah. So as you mentioned, I've been doing venture capital for the last 10 years, looking to invest in companies that are altruistic and for the betterment of mankind, mainly in the technology and healthcare space. When I came across crypto technology, specifically Bitcoin, in 2012 and 2013, and started investing in 2017, really fell in love with the concept of, what blockchain does and immutable ledgers and just the altruism that I think that blockchain will have in shaping the future. So I was really excited in the space. And now, as you mentioned, I'm pivoting to put all my attention on it because I really do believe that it's the next big thing to change the future.
Yeah, that's amazing. But Peter, you're such a financial expert. Like you are one of my most trusted people in terms of the space. Like, how did you get started in the industry? You know so much at I think your age, and I think you're like 10 years ahead of most people that are like 10 years older than you. So like
a lot. Thank you. So yeah, so I mean, crypto it's kind of a scary world, right? There's so much information, there's so much to learn. It's forever moving and changing in real time. The ways that I got involved was, attending conferences, reading white papers, and following other thought leaders in the space. Watching their YouTube channels, signing up for their distribution lists. And, really it's a full-time job by just constantly staying up on what's happening and listening and learning from other people that are shaping the space.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think you've done so well in the space, and I think we can get to that later, but let's just back up and talk about what is blockchain technology and why is there such a buzz right now?
Cool. Yeah. So just to keep it very simple, blockchain technology is a technology that allows people to put information on a ledger, an immutable ledger. So it's really unique because for the first time in history, you can store data on a block that can't be changed. And, I think there's a lot of buzz. Blockchain technology has been around now for over 10 years. And I think there's a lot of buzz now because, people have been making a lot of money. And when people make a lot of money, that creates a lot of buzz. And I think it's really exciting because this is the first time that I've seen as a venture capitalist, the normal investor, the little guy, have an advantage over institutions and venture capitalists. And that's really exciting for me because it's the first time ever that people have been able to make so much money and front run institutions. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. A lot of people are concerned that crypto might be a fad or that it's just so risky and volatile. Where do you really see crypto in the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, so I'm also very skeptical, right? I mean, it's my job to be a skeptic and look at everything under the hood. And, so I've taken a lot of time to think about it. And, I see that there is a real use case and need for blockchain technology. I do think that we're still early, meaning that there are only a few real use cases today for blockchain technology, right? You have DeFi, you have NFTs. Those are two real use cases, but I still think that there's a lot more use cases that will come out over the next, 3 to 5 years. But in 5 years, I see a world where everything is run off the blockchain technology, meaning your house, your car, your rent payments. If you're going to buy a house, the title, the insurance, everything will be on a smart contract, which will be based off of the blockchain technology. So in 5 years, I think it'll be like where we're writing an email or we're Googling, everyone's going to be using blockchain, whether they know it or not.
Yeah, that's so cool. That sounds like incredible to even think about. Like, how do you know that? Why do you think that's true?
So again, this is just an educated guess, but it just, if you look at the whole financial system and the whole system of way things are run, we're analog, right? We're very old. It's 100 years old. The banking system.
Totally.
Trading stocks, right? T+3, where something settles in 3 days. Blockchain is transparent and it's immutable and it's in real time. And so I really do see that we're going to shift everything from an analog world to a digital world, which is this new frontier of blockchain technology, digitization of all sectors and industries. And it's really exciting because things are going to happen in real time, settle in real time. We'll be able to send money in real time. And there's a huge need, right? There's a huge need around the world for this technology to be implemented for many, many reasons.
Well, what do you think are the top 3 reasons? Why do you think there's such a big need?
So I really like, peer-to-peer. So being able to send money across overseas instantaneously, right? So as opposed to having to go to Western Union, sending money to family, I like the ability to be able to send money overseas where it's instantaneous. And I think that's going to cut a lot of costs and save the individual person a lot of money. I also really see a huge use case in securities, like the stock market. I think that, for something to settle in 3 days is just silly, right? It would be so much beneficial to settle instantaneously. And I really think a cool application will be when you can put everything into a smart contract. So if I'm going to sell a home, usually I'm spending 6 or 7% of the fees are going to brokers, right? Middlemen. So now I'll be able to put the insurance, the title, right? All the information that comes in a home, you'll be able to put that together on a smart contract. It'll be approved, okay, by a series of people on the blockchain. And then when you want to buy my home, we can set a price and the smart contract can execute the trade. And it wouldn't take 3-4 months and 6 or 7% to sell my house and fees. It could happen instantaneously, for a fraction of the cost. So those are a couple, of the use cases that I'm looking forward to seeing on a larger scale.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I can see why you think it's totally the future. Why do you think some countries are banning it altogether? Why are people so afraid?
So I think, I see China's banned it, but, I don't know if you saw, but recently Russia, the Central Bank of Russia asked Russia to ban, and they said, actually, we're not going to ban it. So they're creating more, they're creating more mining. And actually India today just accepted. A lot of people thought that India, this actually is news that just broke today, Amina. India,
tell us, Peter.
India was, contemplating banning it, but they actually approved it today and said, that we we embrace cryptocurrencies with open arms and we're taxing it at a 30% tax rate. And so, India is a huge market where people are underbanked and underserved. And, now it's being accepted with open arms. And also there's a lot of smart people in India, developers and stuff that understand use cases for third world countries. So I'm really excited about the news that came out today.
Wow, that's cool. How did you find out about the news? What outlet?
A couple of great places that I pay attention to that I'd recommend. Obviously, Michael Saylor is a big proponent of
Yeah,
Bitcoin. So he's someone
great.
that's fun to watch. I really like also on YouTube, if you type in Crypto Banter, is a really smart group that kind of gives you updates on a daily basis. Crypto Banter, as well as Altcoin Daily, Altcoin Daily. This is one place I go to for news, and these groups get news that don't hit national TV, that you wouldn't hear about, but you're getting good news in real time about countries and big companies that are joining this revolution.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's talk about the decentralized aspect of crypto and sort of the space. Can you share a bit more about that?
Yeah, DeFi is a really exciting space. It's really transforming the entire banking industry. Um, so what specifically would you like to know? I mean, you can typically, just on a very simple basis, because I don't want to get too technical, but we have the ability to take coins and stake them and yield farm them, and earn interest, right, or APY on these. So instead of putting your money in the bank and earning 0.01%, right, less than 1/10 of 1%, you can now take your money, convert it into a stable coin, and earn upwards of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% yields on your money, which is insane.
Yeah.
So I think it's really changing the way we look at investing and the banking system. I remember when I was a kid, you used to be able to put money in a CD and get 7, 8, 9%, right? But that was 20 years ago. So now if you could take your money and see returns of 20 or 30, 40%, it's a pretty exciting place to be.
Yeah, that's cool that you were using CDs 20 years ago. That's amazing.
Yeah, 20 and 30 years ago. So
Wow, cool. Well, okay, so for the people that aren't as familiar with the technology, what do you like, which coin, which form of technology are you most excited about?
sure. So, of course, I can't give financial advice, and I recommend everyone to do their own research. But just to kind of give you guys an understanding of some things that I'm excited about and that I'm looking at, obviously Bitcoin is, something that you have to pay attention to. It's the number one coin that's on the map. But also Ethereum, I think is very exciting technology. Ethereum has, to date, the most companies and dApps that are built. So Ethereum has a big use case. And, if you look at the metaverse and NFTs, the majority of the metaverse and NFTs are falling into the Ethereum ecosystem. So I'm really excited for the future of Ethereum, but also other layer one technologies, that are out there. Ripple, for example, Polkadot, Avalanche, Luna. I think that these are all interesting protocol technologies that one would want to take a look at and dive into, as I do see that the world will be multi-chain, meaning that it won't just be Ethereum or one blockchain that's running everything. I see a world of interoperability where there's multiple different chains and multiple different stacks being used together, as one. So those are some of the coins that I would recommend taking a look at. And
You'd be recommending. Okay, well, let's even just to add more context, you mentioned various number of coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche. What is specifically Ethereum for people that just have no idea? Like, what is specifically the foundation of the technology?
So, blockchain technologies are protocols, right? So it's actually code. And so, this code has its own, algorithm and parameters. But what's happening with Ethereum is it's the most developed protocol, meaning that the most developers, the most entrepreneurs are using the Ethereum blockchain to build companies on top of, to build DeFi. There's other ones that are competing now, new layer ones that are competing, but Ethereum still today is the furthest along in terms of growth and adoption. and the amount of users that have wallets with Ethereum.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't mean that it'll be, the case forever. Like companies like Solana and Luna are gaining traction, and may surpass Ethereum one day. I don't know. But it's just important to know that Ethereum is not the only layer one that's out there, although it is the biggest one today. There are many other ones that are developing and could be as big or bigger in the future.
Wow, cool. Okay, so think about it this way. Somebody hasn't ever invested in Bitcoin. What do they do? What are the steps they take? How do you recommend?
What's really exciting about this is for everyone, right? I mean, guys, this is not, for the big institutions. If you don't have to have a lot of money, right? With as little as $50, right? Or $100 or $500, you can get involved, right? And get started. So, I mean, I would recommend, obviously there's a couple different platforms out there, and depending on where you are in the world, my advice would be different, but you probably want to take a look at Coinbase or Binance. Coinbase if you're in the US, Binance if you're out of the US. Those are two really good platforms where you can simply open an account, you submit your information, your driver's license or passport, and with as little as $50, you can get involved in buying cryptocurrencies.
Cool. And then let's talk about wallets. Let's talk about any other technical terms in the last few minutes that we have. Like, what can you demystify for people? Because it all feels like jargon in a way, right? It's like, what's MetaMask? What's this wallet? What's the difference between Coinbase and Kraken?
Yeah. There's so much going on. Yeah, I think there's so much going on, and depending on how deep down the rabbit hole you want to go, obviously, MetaMask is one of the most famous and well-used wallets. But again, if you just are looking to buy, kind of the basic top 10 cryptocurrencies per se, Bitcoin, Ethereum, you can do that on any of these platforms like a Coinbase or a Binance. So you wouldn't have to have a side wallet to do that. The wallets are for you to take custody of the assets, which is an additional degree of responsibility. So, I would recommend, anyone that wants to get involved in crypto, just please do your research, go online, take it slow and steady. You don't rush it, take it slow and steady. The area is so new that you could make mistakes where, you could send it to the wrong address and end up losing it and you might regret it. So, please just take your time to get familiar, get comfortable. It really took me 6 months of studying this every day, 10, 15 hours a day to start doing some of the more advanced things like, staking and yield farming and MetaMask wallets, et cetera. So, I think everyone should start off, buy, something you're comfortable with, maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum. You can do that on a, Coinbase or Binance or Kraken exchange. And I think that's a good first step to take. And then you can start looking into hard wallets and MetaMask wallets, et cetera.
Cool. Yeah. Well, just in closing, I think something to note, I don't know if you know this, I'm sure you do, that like crypto.com is putting a big push on advertising. They even have Matt Damon as their spokesperson. I think they have I think the tagline that says something like "Fortune favors the brave," and they're putting a big push. Yeah, which makes total sense, right? Makes total sense. And they're doing a lot of advertising with the NBA. Like, with all of this buzz and advertising and movement and celebrities now getting involved, like, I definitely think it's here to stay. I definitely think people are paying attention. I think they're making money. Any final thoughts or words for people that now I think everybody's buzzing about this, getting infiltrated? Like, how can they simply think about this? Should they, I don't know, invest a really small amount, just get involved today? Should they wait? Like, what parting words do you have for them?
Well, I mean, you nailed it. I mean, the world is definitely trending. All the biggest companies and corporations are starting to jump in. And crypto.com, they're spending all this money to be on stadiums, and Coinbase it's a fight for users, right? Because they know that this is the future. This is the future of finance, and they're spending all this money because they want to attract people like us to use their platform. So my final words would just be take your time. Anyone can do this. I think it's you have to do your own work, but you push yourself. You can do it. Anyone can do it. I think this is the biggest opportunity we've seen in our lifetime as a retail investor, where we can really front run and get in front of these bigger institutions. And I would just say, obviously only invest what you can risk and afford to risk. But if you have a good plan and you stay strong with your plan and don't really let the volatility affect you as much, because people are emotional and tend to buy at the top and sell at the bottom. I would say, DCA, right? Just buy in slowly at different prices over a period of time, and just hold, and keep what you believe in, keep your thesis. And I think in 3 to 5+ years, you're going to be very, very happy.
So dollar cost average, focus on that and just hold. Like if you aren't going to be Peter, like studying this 10, 15 hours, I know you've been really successful in this field. I know that, actually, you know what? One other question's popped up before we go. What do you attribute your success to? Like you were in the venture world. I mean, I know you were dealing a lot with large amounts of money. Like you didn't know much about crypto, but I think you had some pretty great immediate success. Like what do you attribute your success to?
In crypto specifically, or just in general?
In crypto. Unless you want to share your secret success.
It's just about, falling in love with something and your attention, and putting all of your attention into something, studying it, embracing it. And obviously I have the background of vetting technologies out and management teams out. And so, obviously you have to take a little bit of risk, but without risk, there's not, reward. And I think it was just, right place, right time. Again, as a venture capitalist, I'm always looking at the next thing that's going to shape the future. And I'm always looking to finance the future. And, Ethereum and Bitcoin were two really good use cases that made sense.
That makes sense. Cool. All right. Well, you told me one story when you were growing up that I think helped also make you pretty successful too. I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing that one or not.
Sure, of course. Yeah, so just, for an example, growing up, my parents, they really pushed me to do things myself. So, when I was 5 and 6 years old, if I was sick and I used to get, strep throats quite often, my mom would literally tell me, okay, you want to go to you don't feel good, then call the doctor. And I was like, what do you mean call the doctor? She's like, yeah, go pick up the phone and call the doctor. And I'm literally 5 years old. Okay. And I've never even picked up a phone or spoken to anybody on a phone. And I had to learn, how to dial a phone, introduce myself, explain my situation, and see if they could help me. Right. So, I think this is an example of just, being pushed to kind of, you have to push yourself, right? Push yourself to be in something that's uncomfortable, something that's new. Crypto is very new, and it was very uncomfortable getting involved in it. But it's just about persistence and pushing and, getting through it. And that's where the opportunity lies.
Yeah, exactly. Your parents were giving you tough love, right? I mean, the positive part of that message, other than just like, what do you want me to do? I think the positive part about that is that the message that they gave you is you can do it and you're capable. And when someone grows up with that kind of belief system, is like, you know what, this is hard. I don't know what to do, but I'll figure it out. I'm capable. When someone has that psychology and that belief system, they feel more comfortable investing in their own education and in themselves. And I think taking risks. And I think that's also really special about you, because you have this confidence that, you know what, I'm not going to have somebody else do it for me, which is one of the largest faux pas in the financial world, right? You just give your money away to a planner and then you don't know what's going on. I'm going to learn this. And people don't need to go as deep as you've been going, but it's really important to invest in yourself, right? Like,
you absolutely nailed it, Amina. You nailed it. And what I really like about crypto specifically is that all the information, all the tools are available to people like, us normal people that want to get involved. It's on the internet, right? With the new age and in today's world, we can access this. So we just have to empower ourselves to go out and obtain it and make our own decisions. And I think crypto, again, I like to say, I think, if you put, somewhere between 1% and 5% of your net worth into crypto, I think that you've got a good option, a good shot of that turning into 95% of your wealth in the next 5 to 10 years. So, that's a pretty big opportunity.
Yeah, that's a big opportunity. Cool. Well, thank you, Peter, for joining the podcast. Where can we find you? I know you just started a new company. You started a new crypto fund. I know you have a website.
So please check me out. The fund is called First Block Capital. So you can go to firstblockcapital.com or also reach out to me on LinkedIn, Peter Jenssen. Looking forward to hearing from you. And thanks so much for having me on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Peter. I hope this was useful to everyone. As always, you're going to find this podcast on LinkedIn Live. We're now on Apple and Spotify. I'm your host, Amina Zamani, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.